choosing the facets and growing a little bit more behind the chair and outside of behind the chair is really, really important for our mental health, for our success, to give us the opportunity to not get stagnant in our journey and in the process.
Welcome everyone back to the Successful Stylist Academy podcast. I am your host, Ambrosia Carey. Drea, what's up, girl? How's it going?
Hi, Ambrosia. I am so happy to be here.
And let's keep talking about business, marketing, and all the support that we need in order to have a healthy, robust career. Successful Stylist Academy actually launched during the pandemic in 2020. And we have been helping salon owners, hairstylists, beauty professionals, really across the board, how to build a more attainable, a longer lasting business, and more robust career. I have been talking to so many hairstylists and salon owners and beauty professionals that are wanting to find a more balanced way of working. They want to have more options. You know, I go back to the stat. Warren Buffett says that we need 7 sources of income to find actual wealth. And wealth obviously is, there's so much involved with wealth, right? It's not just about the money that we're making, but the freedom that we can create for ourselves, the long-term assets that we can have to actually have an exit strategy. So many people in our industry are getting to a place where they're either reaching burnout, they want to try something that's more creative, they want something that's going to give them a little bit more freedom behind the chair or in their business. They want to grow their business and they want to find more like-minded people. And what an amazing way to do all this when you actually have a marketing strategy that works for you. So in the world of automation, this is where you can actually kind of bootstrap that to your business and have a really, like I've said this word before, have a really robust career. So Drea, I want to hear from you, just even in the last 3 years that we have been involved with Successful Stylist Academy, the growth of it, the evolution and the changes in the industry. Tell me some of the resources that you've learned in the last 3 years, being a part of Successful Stylist Academy, that you've been able to apply to your own life and your own career.
Thanks to Warren Buffett, because it makes me feel a little better about having my hands in so many honey jars, honey pots all the time. Good news. So that is awesome. So, I mean, to answer your question, I feel like I am that person who gets bored very, very easy. And I know as hairstylist, I'm speaking for a lot of us. And being able to be part of Successful Stylist Academy and the team has really given me more strength in my voice in other areas where I have felt called to share with hairdressers, salon owners, and really just other entrepreneurs and creatives. I've really been able to explore things and find a place for them where they make sense, tangible tools to utilize these. So for example, I teach presentation skills and communication. I also am a part of a lot of different mindset coaching and different things. And there is a place for those. So I feel like some of the skills that I needed to really be able to plug in those things in a tangible way, find a good place for them, see where they fit in my already current business as a hairstylist, as an artist, have really been the tools that I've gained from being part of this Successful Stylist Academy team. And what's really cool about that is sometimes we have ideas and we have some information or part of a workshop or something, but doing it and going alone is really, really challenging. Being good at this thing, and this thing, and then just having a few missing links where you can partner with someone who that's their strength. So SSA, like coming in and with you and saying, okay, here's how I can help you build these slide decks. Here's where the marketing part is missing, but you're doing great at this. Here's where this can fit in. Oh, and I have this piece that will work really beautifully with what you already have. And I feel like that's what Successful Stylist Academy is all about.
Yeah. So when we were talking about the 7 sources of income, a lot of times when I talk to beauty professionals specifically, they're focusing so much on the revenue that they are producing, which that is not to be discounted. That's an important factor. We want to have that be like the meat and potatoes of our meal. But there are other assets, or there are other parts of that business that we also wanted to do to make it a more well-rounded meal that's going to last longer. So for instance, like if I were to just tell you off the top of my head the 7 sources of income that I can rely on, it's not specifically just from what I do behind the chair, but that is one of them. I do still work behind the chair 3 days a week, and I do still make money for myself, and I pay myself commission. So I pocket some, the salon pockets some. So it's a win-win. As a salon owner, yes, I do have a commission-based environment. So I do have some profits that I make from the business itself. It's not a lot, but it is some. And then the rest of it goes back into the salon again. Again, it's another way to actually produce income. And that's the reason why so many business owners want to have employees, because if you treat and teach them well, train them well, and they're actually, building profit for themselves, then it's a win-win for all of you guys too. The third way I would say is education. I'm an educator for multiple brands, and it's really awesome because those brands, they seek the education out and they put me in a plug and play system. I show up, I teach the class. When I'm done, I get paid for it. Really, really easy. Obviously, I have my own education business. So I have my own independent educating aside from Successful Stylist Academy, where I am teaching specific techniques like my hair cutting. I do French hair cutting. So I might do even one-on-one education. I do education inside the salon even. So that's all like building revenue as well. The fourth way would be through affiliate marketing. I have been doing affiliate marketing successfully now for several years. It is now a plug and play system where I am setting up the links ahead of time. I'm putting stuff out there. I'm already putting it out there, but I'm just linking those things in for other people to see. So on average, I'm making several $100s from affiliate marketing, sometimes even close to $1,000, depending on where the sources are coming from. All right. Number 5 is through courses. And I'm going to put courses and coaching into one, because coaching is usually something where somebody directly messages me, or they respond to something on my stories on Instagram, let's say, or I've even had people ask me questions through TikTok, believe it or not. And that is something where we actually set up a one-on-one, and we have something called a discovery call, and we decide, like, is it a good fit? Are we actually going to do this? There are times where I'm candid with the person and I just say, like, I would probably do these 3 things first, and then contact me when you're done with that. And then we'll talk about what we can do together. So that would be a coaching side of things. Courses, that's going to be more evergreen, where those are actually put out through posts. And when I've done stuff through SEO, which again, I'll explain more about search engine optimization in our event, when I'm actually selling those courses, people are, coming from different sources. It's coming from Google, it's coming in from Pinterest, it's coming in even from Instagram. So there are people that are purchasing these courses that I might not personally know, but that's again set up through an evergreen selection. And then I would say number 7 would be real estate. Real estate is not to be forgotten about. And yes, it doesn't really have anything to do with our industry, but if you're working smarter, not harder, then you are putting a nest egg away. I've always said that you need to reinvest 5% back into marketing, reinvest 3% back into your education for the year. And you always want to reinvest back in your real estate. So if you're renting, maybe your goal for next year is to purchase your first home, or to purchase something like property, or something where you can actually like build a nest egg on that you can have reinvestment back into. That could even be into stocks as well. Like if you had a 401k, for instance, or a Roth IRA, that could even work too, because some of it is like pre-tax, some is post-tax. There could be a simple plan even. So there's a lot of options in the financial world that you can just do tiny bits at a time, and that can compound over time. And then you finally have a nest egg ready for yourself in the future, but don't let that be forgotten about. So that would be my top 7 sources of income, I would say, as a viable resource. So that way I know that if for some reason anything were to correct or change in the market and we hit a deep recession, then I would have other places to pull that income from. And I don't have to burn myself behind the chair or in the salon specifically being that one source of income.
Perfect. I love that. You guys, I mean, Ambrosia gave such good examples of how our business expands from us just standing behind the chair. And that is like, that's our foundation, right? We stand behind the chair, we serve people, we create, and that's an amazing, beautiful thing. But the truth of the matter is, there are so many different facets of being a hairstylist. We already know that. I mean, even when you just look at booking, social media, marketing, keeping track of our inventory, like there's just continuing to educate ourselves. There are so many different things that we do now as a hairstylist that has began to come into play that didn't used to be the case. I mean, Ambrosia, you and I were having the conversation about the evolution of the hairstylist. For me, I guess those 7 things, I don't know that I'm going to say 7. They look a little bit different because I do step outside of the industry also a little bit more, and I do cater to the professional creative, but I am also doing that coaching. I am doing those courses, and I'm doing them in mindset, and I'm doing them in public speaking, doing lives for companies I work for. So I've partnered with Clicks this year and done some shows. We're both educators for Olivia Garden and travel nationally and internationally doing shows. And that is something that I feel like hairdressers are interested, but step into and maybe don't know how to start being a part of a company. We do have an amazing ambassador program, and I do want to put that out there because I think sometimes you're like, I really want to be a part of this and I want to be a part of this community, but I don't know where to start. So we do have an amazing ambassador program. And if you are interested, please hit us up because we would love to hear from you. And we're always growing our team, and really put a lot of love into what are your strengths and where do you see yourself and how can we help you get there? So instead of all these things just being thrust upon us to feel like we have to be successful, I don't know, I think I saw a meme that was like, I wanted to do hair and stand behind the chair and do hair, and now I'm dancing on Instagram. So, I mean, that's awesome. And it works for some of us, but it doesn't work for all of us. So I feel like shifting the perspective, and within the evolution as a hairstylist, choosing the facets and growing a little bit more behind the chair and outside of behind the chair is really, really important for our mental health, for our success, to give us the opportunity to not get stagnant in our journey and in the process. One thing that I see a lot in our industry is some of the most amazing, talented people I've ever met that are challenged with sharing their vision, with talking to an audience, with feeling comfortable with eye contact and one-on-one. And I feel like you can be so talented, but if you can't relay your message, do a video, lead a team, share your ideas, it really puts a limitation on your reach and on your influence. And I feel like the power of public speaking really, really comes into play with that.
I think those public speaking skills can apply to any aspect, no matter what part of your career that you're in, whether you are building your clientele, or you're wanting to expand your team, or you're wanting to pitch to brands or become an educator, or even if you want to work for another brand specifically and you want to get more familiar with like who you are cemented as, like what's your vision and how does it align properly with the type of brands that you work with. So, that vision can go well beyond what you're doing today. That vision can continue to evolve, but really tapping into what lights you up and what you want to be a part of, it will help you steer that course in making those types of decisions firmly. And it also will help you with like making a connection with the right people. That's what communication all comes down to, is you're connecting with the right people that kind of get you, you get them, and you don't have to struggle so hard. And I think one of the biggest things when I talk to people is self-confidence. There's an aspect where people are comparing themselves, and so they feel like they're not competent or confident in something, but they're comparing themselves to where they think someone else is, because that's where they're relaying their benchmark, as opposed to being like, this is how far I've come and I'm a lot more confident in this than I used to be. It's like we're always looking around the corner rather than seeing where we've come from. So if you can turn around and take a glance of like where your whole journey has led you to where you are today and where it's going to continue to lead you, that feels like a more empowering way to approach like all systems in your business, and just like where the evolution of your journey as a service provider has come from and where it's going. I see so many people in our industry putting all their effort into Instagram. And although that's great, it's such a small portion of where your global marketing efforts could actually make reach. So I know you guys have heard me talk about Instagram before. I have my opinions on it. I still use Instagram on a regular basis, and TikTok, and like social media platforms are great for where they are. But your goal for that would be different than the goals that you would have for other parts of the marketing world. And that's where I want to shed a little bit more light on it. It doesn't even matter where you are in the business. As a matter of fact, I'm envious of those who are just entering into this industry, or those who are just
Yeah.
starting out their business for the first time, because there's so many amazing resources out there. But this is a big but. This is a big, big booty. The problem is that there is too much information out there that is actually not accurate. There is a lot of information that's being put out there by self-proclaimed experts that have not actually put this to test, or it only applies to a very small percentage. Like, I'm not going to throw anybody under the bus. But when you say, like, I'm removing all of my retail entirely from my space and I'm going to sell all of it online, it doesn't have to be an all or nothing. And whenever you hear somebody telling you to say all or nothing, or this is absolutely this, absolutely not this, that's when you have to start questioning, like, is that true? Is that the only way of doing it? And if you're going to hear like absolutes in any sort of situation, you better run. You better look the other way. You better start asking other resources.
Dream big, set goals, take action, and we're here for you every step of the way. Please join us next week. It has been a pleasure as always.